It's time to make the ultimate woodworking tool, inspired by one of nature's greatest woodworkers. Now let's jump right into it. Here are two beaver teeth. Now beaver teeth grow from deep back in their skulls, which makes them long and curved. They were considered to be the most significant feature of a beaver by Native Americans because they could be used as chisels and cutting tools. The outside orange part is harder than the rest of the tooth, so it creates a sharp edge as the rest of the tooth wears away much quicker. Here's a leg bone from a deer and some flint or chert flakes that we're going to be using. We're preparing this bone to be the handle for our beaver tooth chisel. We like to scrape it down and polish it up so it can look and feel great in the hand. Sometimes we use a sanding stone to help in the process. We like to use scouring rush for sanding the bone down. Native Americans use this plant for this exact purpose. After a few minutes, the bone polishes up very nice. We also like to buff it up with a piece of leather to make it shine. We grind the back of the bone a bit for when we need to push it from the back end with our hand, or even when we use a maul on the end, so it'll make contact more evenly. And now we finally get to use our deer bone chisels for digging out this bone and making the hole wider. The white chisel has more of a pointed tip, and the brown one has a typical curved chisel shape. We'll start with the white one. Now bones are mostly hollow, but not entirely. Sometimes they got to be dug out to fit the back end of your tool point. We also want to widen it so it can hold more of the pitch for gluing it in. Before we cut it to size, we're going to sharpen the tooth on 2 grades of sandstone. We need to sharpen this flint flake up some so that we can cut the beaver tooth to the right size. This is a patient work since the tooth is very hard and needs to be well cut all the way around. We're checking on the fit and the angle here before we glue it all in. This is some charcoal we're going to grind to powder and mix with our melted pitch. Adding charcoal makes the pitch harder and less brittle. Okay, we got to get a fire going to melt and mix the pitch with the charcoal. This is a cedar board and a 9-bark drill, and some cedar tinder. We melted some pitch in a mussel shell, but thought we needed more, so we mixed up a new batch in a small clay bowl. We need to put a lot of pitch in this bone while it's hot, and then work fast to push in the beaver tooth before the pitch hardens. After about 30 seconds, it may be too hard to insert the tooth. We weren't able to push it all the way in by hand, so we needed to push it against the stump, which worked good to get it in all the way. We decided to add just a little extra pitch for good measure where the tooth enters the bone. We had plenty of pitch left over, so we'll save it for our next project. It feels so good to have this tool. We made one years ago, which was inserted into an antler, and it lasted a long time. It finally broke when we used it on a hardened piece of yew wood. We really missed that tool, so this is kind of like seeing an old friend again. If you like what we're doing on this channel, the best thing you can do is subscribe, hit the like button, and leave us a quick comment. When you do these things, it directly puts our videos in front of more bushcraft and nature lovers like you and supports the channel. Thanks for watching.